Welcome to Coco Talk.
What's up, baby?
What's up, doggy?
What up?
Good to see you.
Yo, Wakanda for life, man.
Wakanda forever, man.
My boy is in Ghana right now,
I
man.
got the traditional African
Yo,
garb, representing my
know.
people.
Yo, I know Afrobeat is popping right now, man, but I didn't know you was an Afro star.
I'm doing what I gotta do for the people.
Yeah. What's up, everybody?
What's up?
Welcome to Culture Talk.
It's your boy Mike French.
It's your boy Epidemic.
Yo.
We got a lot to talk about this week. The culture is bubbling.
Culture been bubbling. There's a lot popping off.
A lot popping off.
How was your fourth?
Dude, my fourth was great, man. I was in Palm Springs. It was hot. Oh my God, man.
So Palm Springs is a desert, 70 miles away from LA?
About 70 miles outside of LA. If you ever think about doing something outside of the culture, go to Palm Springs during the summer. Got to see Joshua Tree. Really cool, man. What about you?
Good vibe. Yo, I actually partied here in Venice. Went to a little house party in Venice. I did what I had to do. It was a nice little bounce to it. You know what I'm saying? But crazy, right before I went to that party, there was an earthquake.
Earthquake, man.
Yo, LA's been quaking like crazy. So there was a 6.4 magnitude earthquake in Richmond.
That was the first earthquake.
That was the first one on Thursday, like the morning of the 4th of July.
That's crazy.
It happened 125 miles northeast of LA, and I was in bed.
Look at you, weatherman.
Listen, I'm giving you the stats here, bro. I was in bed, and it was this low rumble, and I'm looking around, bro. It was crazy. 20 to 30 seconds of literally my bed shaking.
Dang, that's crazy.
Not even 36 hours later, there was a second earthquake in the same area, 7.1, even bigger.
Yeah.
When that happened, I was outside, and I saw the glass wobbling outside the restaurant I was at. It was really wild. I look up, I see the fire escape wobbling.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's crazy, man. You know where your real friends are, man. I wasn't even in the city, but not a lot of people knew I wasn't in LA, and I was looking through my text yo, who gonna text me asking about this earthquake?
Are you alright?
I was so sensitive about it. I was like, who gonna text me?
That's when you know they real.
That's when you know they real. Hey. For some reason, 4th of July always makes me remind me of my favorite movie, Independence Day.
Independence Day.
Oh my God.
Which brings us to our next segment, Culture Throwback.
Culture Throwback.
We're just gonna be recalling movies, songs, events that defined our childhood. And Independence Day was one of those movies,
Yo.
man. This was Will Smith's breakout role. He was known, up and coming actor at the time, being on Fresh Prince, but this was his Hollywood blockbuster.
What were your top moments? Top moments of Independence Day?
I remember as a kid watching that movie and watching the air fight when they were going against the aliens, and it was
the huge ship, the
huge
ship,
the mothership.
Oh,
the
man.
mothership, and also remember the scene where they blew up the White House?
Yeah,
LA,
yeah.
it was crazy as a kid to see that.
Yo, man, my favorite moment was when he, finally shot down. He was one of the first people to shoot down one of the aliens, and he went up there, and the alien came out, was and he was just he's man, welcome to Earth.
It's crazy.
What's up?
Independence Day kind of introduced everybody to Will Smith as a blockbuster, but here recently, Aladdin just passed Independence Day as Will Smith's highest grossing movie. This day had the record, it had 820 million for Will Smith. That was his record, but Aladdin now has grossed over 900 million, so.
Okay, everybody, we're gonna jump into our next segment, Lit Not Lit. And the first one up is Spider-Man.
Man, Spider-Man Homecoming, I'm going with not lit, man. I'm going with not lit simply because Tobey Maguire is my Spider-Man, and all
you going old school, man.
I'm going old school.
We already finished Culture Throwback.
I know, but for sure, I just feel Disney is doing all these remakes. It's just a big cash grab, and we didn't need this new franchise for Spider-Man. Although, I saw Avengers Endgame.
See, that's what's changing.
It works. It works a little bit, but not lit.
Well, I'm definitely gonna go lit. I think that exactly what you said, Avengers really changed the game for Spider-Man. I think it showed some more creativity and his powers and just Spider-Man. I like how they started Spider-Man being younger.
Yeah.
Then it gives them more movies to show the maturity and growth of Spider-Man. And
very true.
What do people love these days? They love to binge watch and see maturity of characters. So
that's very true.
They like to
grow up with
They like to grow up with them.
Yeah.
So I think they went young to start this franchise, and I think that's gonna be a good move.
KD and Kyrie have teamed up to go to the Brooklyn Nets. What's your thoughts? Lit or not lit?
I'm gonna go lit.
Litty.
And the one reason why is because I think that, you know, a lot of people were killing them not to go in for the Knicks. But when you really think about it, it's like the same market, right? Like they're in the New York market. The branding power of Brooklyn these days, especially for millennials, is probably just as big as, you know, if they were to be in like Madison Square Garden. So
yeah, man, I'm on the fence about this one just because Kyrie is a dookie, but like overall, I think it's not lit, man.
Come on,
Kevin Durant
man.
is like he's the face of this whole like super team movement recently, like him like just leaving franchises to join with other players to form a super team. I'm not a fan in general of these Build-A-Bear teams, man. Like, bro, I feel like
we are fans.
Let me finish.
We are fans of Bron. He created this.
Allow me to
reintroduce myself.
But it was hope. I just think that like I love the idea of loyalty to a franchise, and like that hasn't been expressed by Kyrie or Kevin Durant, and the fact that they're joining together, they're like, it's not as lit as it could be.
Bro, what are you talking about? Like, our favorite player is LeBron James. He literally built the roadmap for this.
Well, listen, I'm not getting into those specifics. All I have to say is that I'm not a fan of this.
We so biased in LA.
Not lit.
And the next one, this is super surprising. 15-year-old Corey Gauff is really making headlines at Wimbledon. She's a 15-year-old woman tennis player, and she just beat Venus Williams. And
she's also the youngest player to qualify for Wimbledon.
I don't even know if we have to say this.
Is it litty? It's so lit.
Listen, man, I'm so impressed with her. I was able to watch her last match when she was going into, you know, trying to qualify for the 4th round, and you know, she was down most of the match, and just like her composure, the way, like, you would have thought she was 27 years old. Yeah, and she was facing like a veteran.
Yeah.
And so just, you know, props up to her.
It's just so beautiful to see. Like, she beat Venus Williams, who's her idol. Like, when the kind of like mentee passes the mentor, that type of that narrative is beautiful to see. And like, yeah, like she's out here making history, bro. It's like she's out here making waves.
Yeah, I mean,
speaking of earthquake, she just made a seismic wave in the tennis world. Like,
he got
crazy.
Bars now. He got bars.
Bars.
So Brianna Mason became the first black woman to be crowned Miss Tennessee. Lit or not lit?
It's so lit, man. I love seeing this idea of inclusion and representation for our people. Like, it's amazing that in a southern state like Tennessee, a black beauty, and those features are being celebrated, you know? And I think it sends a powerful message to black women and black girls who look up to this pageant. They see her as a role model. So in my eyes, it's lit.
I'm gonna go now lit.
Okay. Explain that.
It's
the
more
people
so,
need to hear this.
It's more so the representation of a beauty pageant. You know, there's no Mr. Tennessee. Let's just put it that way. I think it's a little degrading. You know what I mean? It's 2019. I'm not a big fan of pageants anyway, and so I don't want to see our queens thinking that they need that validation from these pageants to be considered beauty. You know what I mean? Like, we're creating, you know, social media has allowed us to create our own conception of beauty. And so, you know, what do we need a pageant for? So, not lit.
So speaking of inclusion and representation, Disney just casted Halle Bailey as Ariel in their live action remake of The Little Mermaid. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh man, that's dope, man. What a achievement. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think, you know, we've seen this like huge wave of diversity and inclusion just in, you know, the entertainment industry. And I'm a little torn about it, but love to hear your first reactions first.
My first reaction was, just so you guys know, Halle Bailey is a young African-American girl. There's been backlash because she isn't the traditional Ariel from, you know, critics online. But
same thing we saw with 007 with Eve.
Facts. But my initial reaction was, wow, this is amazing to see a storybook classic reimagined with, you know, diversity. And it really makes sense when you think about it. I mean, The Little Mermaid is based in the Caribbean, like under the sea, like the whole vibe.
Under the sea.
Under the sea. I mean, really. I mean, Jamaican. You don't call me out on that.
Under the sea.
Yeah, but like, it's a Caribbean like story. Like, I mean, she is a talent. She's a young talent, and I think it was a great decision by the casting director to give an opportunity to a young African American woman to represent that role to a whole new generation. I think it's going to be a powerful ripple effect for generations to come, so little girls can see themselves. Because there's only been one other black princess for Disney. I think that's Tiana, and I think she's the second live-action version of that. You remember that movie with Brandy and Whitney Houston?
Yeah.
When they redid Cinderella?
Yeah.
So like this is like on trend for Disney, and it's beautiful to see that Disney is giving diversity a chance and inclusion a chance, because you see this with Lion King. Like majority black cast. You see this with their selection of Will Smith as Genie.
But do you think, hold on, so I get what you're saying. We got Lion King, we got Aladdin, we got, you know, now this, but are you giving this, like, I think actually the numbers, you know, make sense, which is why they're doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I want to big up Disney, but at the end of the day, like, I think they stumbled, the whole movie industry stumbled on a trend, you know what I mean? Like, they were typecasting us per usual, and making still films like, you know, Straight Outta Compton, which was a dope movie. And they were like, wait, hold up, like, 200 million in revenue, 28 million in cost. Like, let's make more of those. And so all of a sudden, there's starting to be some momentum of just like
capitalizing on the black audience.
And you know, if you look at the numbers, man, like, yo, we've been going to the movies like minorities are 30%, 37% of the population. Yet when you look at like 2016 and like 1.5 billion in ticket sales, like we were 46% of that.
Amazing.
So like they saw like this coming, and it's like it's a business decision. So I don't know how much credit I could give Disney for this.
I understand what you're saying. They're following their bottom line, but it's just like other studios aren't doing that. So they've recognized this pattern and this formula, and so there has to be, in my eyes, props given to a major studio like Disney. I mean, they did Black Panther. I mean, if you really think about the representation aspect of what's happening in the cinemas, Disney is a huge player in that, and it's because, in my eyes, it's because, just like you said, they recognize it's a great studio business-wise. They recognize the opportunity that the black audience provides. But Disney is just they're a sculptor of culture. And so like when they do it, it is more meaningful because they occupy real estate in our minds that we have strong like emotional ties to. These characters, these stories, they have the creative kind of like, they own the intellectual properties for a lot of our childhood. And so when they actually decide to make inclusion and representation one of their goals and one of their like focal points, it has, you know, very powerful ramifications.
And you know, to that point, I think that the intellectual property of our mind is actually a true statement, because that's where the backlash is coming from.
Exactly.
The whole reason why there's backlash is because
people are like, this is not what I grew up on.
Our childhood is so ingrained in like what we're used to seeing as the characters are so ingrained that like when they start making remakes and it doesn't fit what is
our
ingrained
narrative
already, it's like people are just like going crazy.
There's this emotional reaction, and it's very charged, but it's also indicative of the progress that we're making in society, that a casting director who has the power to decide who's going to be in this movie, because of the talent that Halle Bailey presented, she was like, despite what people may perceive as like this isn't true to story, she was like, this is Ariel at her core. So I think that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Okay, everyone, we have some bittersweet news.
Bittersweet.
Kawhi, he decided not to go with the most littest team. Kawhi chose to go to the Clippers. It was breaking news this weekend. Obviously, we upset about it, being Laker fans, but it had made some very entertaining memes, and so that's gonna bring us to
Meme of the Week.
Yo, man, like, even though, like, I actually do think it brings balance to the NBA.
It does.
I'm not.
That's funny you mentioned that. When that happened, I was like, yo, this is like, next season is going to be the most, it's wide open.
It's wide open.
It's wide open, yo.
But we did get some hilarious memes out of it. Let's check out this one.
Man, come play with me, man.
Oh, they brought Usher into this. Usher like, I was minding my business.
They brought Usher into this. This is so dirty, yo.
That's hilarious. Damn. That was an album, though.
Oh man. And that's a wrap. That's a wrap.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Thank everybody for tuning in.
Make sure you subscribe.
You know, follow us.
Comment. Give us some feedback, yo.
Do something. Do something.
And yo, be sure to click the notification tab at the bottom.
Please do. It's your boy Epidemic.
It's your boy Mike French. See you next week.